This will be Plan B for another week. We'll just have to
We'll adjust.
pick another week where you can do.
Oh, I'm not worried about it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You know me.
Yeah, me too, but it won't work for this. So I will find out why we get this mic and I plug it in. It's a tunnel under here, that's nice. And you've got some water. Okay, you're what? There you go. Every day.
So yeah, let's go ahead and start my outfit.
Sure. The only other thing I would say is if at the end, as we do Traveler, oh no, why did I write Lichilach? We said Traveler's Prayer. Okay. You can tell I was having a brain freeze today. That's for me. That's for me. And I'll get that page number. And if we sing it and a lot of people don't join in, maybe when we're done, then if we need to, we can just break into it. Whatever, Shabbat Shalom,
Okay.
whatever it is,
All
we can
right.
just, yay,
So
it's
if
like
people
old
don't
school,
come
not be
along.
like, hey, we didn't know that.
I think people sing it because we used to end the.
Right, I think enough people ought to know it, but just in case,
We
yeah.
used to do the. What am I thinking? The Havdalah sing-ins. We used to end them with that.
With that, which is beautiful, yeah. Okay.
We are thinking of the
See,
same
it is
thing,
on
right?
649, I just, be blessed on you. Yeah, so I was right about the page number, I just typed in the wrong.
Gotcha. Okay, so it is 6:40.
Yep. Thank you. Got that later. I'm pretty sure that's a Reuben, but all right. Maybe it's a Reuben. I'm not going to change what's written. And yeah, the glass that looks like this is
Is yours. So I've got a little something I'm
do
working
you?
through, so
There's your
it's something that I must have breathed in. So if I don't start immediately,
wait or jump in.
Jump in.
Jump in. That would be really nice. Jim, are you sitting up here too? You're sitting up here too? Oh, you're just asking me a question. Yeah, I would say the presentation's going to be at the very end, after the mourner's college. So I wouldn't necessarily say everybody pose, but if they want to kind of be like click, they can. I think it'll be okay because I try to refrain from that because then everybody's there. But I actually put the blessing after the mourner's college. So technically it's not related to service. I wasn't thinking of that, but it worked. There we go. So we will, before you start, and then we'll start with my FAO. I'm just going to, for those of you who are, while they're all getting seated, for those of you who are watching us at home or wherever you are on vacation, Angie and I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom. You may be watching from the streaming service and hoping you're having a wonderful summer, or if you're under the weather, we keep you in our prayers. And when we say the Mishaberach, even if your name's not on the list, please know that we'll be including you in our prayers for a speedy recovery as we wish you Shabbat Shalom. There we go. Shabbat Shalom. And, okay.
Shabbat Shalom, Maya Ve'ayom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Maya Ve'ayom. Shabbat Shalom, Maya Ve'ayom. Shabbat Shalom.
On this Shabbat, we are at the end of the book of Numbers, or Bamidbar in the desert in Hebrew, and we're moving into Devarim next week, which can mean matters or words. Depends. It can be matters, it can be words, it can be either. And so I wanted to share with you a passage from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel. And while you will, if you don't know Rabbi Heschel, you'll say, oh, he wrote that this month. But in fact, he wrote it before his death almost 50 years ago. And so I was thinking about this week. Heschel said, one of the major symptoms of the general crisis existent in our world today is our lack of sensitivity to words. We use words as tools. We forget that words are a repository of the Spirit. The tragedy of our times, words and sounds. The tragedy of our times is that the words, the vessels of the Spirit, are broken. We cannot approach the Spirit unless we repair the vessels. Reverence for words and awareness of the wonder of words, of the mystery of words, is an essential prerequisite for prayer. By the word of God, the world was created. So as we come to the end of the book of Numbers, it's the end. Now you'll say, well, it's not the end. There's a whole other book. We've got a while. But Deuteronomy is Moses' final words. How appropriate for a Shabbat where we congratulate some college students, because Moses' final words goes on for many, 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 many weeks. He doesn't know what those final words of advice will be, so he gives us a whole book of them. But Numbers is really the end of the narrative of the Jewish people, and then it's a repetition. And that's where we are this week. So we think a little about words. We think about the power of words. We think about the words that clutter. We think about the words that get in the way. And I want you to take a moment before we continue to let go of the words that are clogging you up this week. I wouldn't know what they are, because each of us brings our own cluttered words, like a traffic jam of the mind. And I really want you to take a moment to just, whether you close your eyes or you keep them open, just push everything out and just get rid of all the words. And when there's really nothing there but blank space, which is in itself something, I want you to just imagine the word Shabbat. If you know your Hebrew letters, you can put that in. If you know just a shin, the first letter, the name of God, the first word of Shema, you can imagine that. In English, Shabbat will work as well. And just to not let any other words in. And just take a moment and see that with everything else gone, with no other noise. Takes a lot of work. I can tell you, as one who's frequently aggravated, it takes a lot of work to just get it all out of the way. So just, if you find yourself drifting, there's different types of drifting. Noticing the smile of your neighbor or the trees in the garden, that's a good drifting. But if you drift to places you don't want to be, just push them out and bring back, imagine that Shabbat in front of you. We're going to turn, when you're ready, to 126. And if you have a book with more than one set of page numbers, I'm always referring to the page number in brackets, if you have one of those books. 126. And let's just, with Shabbat in front of us, read together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer can sense my inner strength, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other. To work is to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created. To work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us. And to bring that vision to life. Page 128, how good it is to join together. Turn to page 130. Psalm 95 is one of the collection of psalms that is part of our service, welcoming Shabbat. L'chu niranena l'Adonai, na'aria litzor yishenu. Let's read together at the bottom of the page. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song. For Adonai is a great God, the great ruler of all divine beings. In God's hands are the depths of the earth. The peaks of the mountains are God's. God is the seas. God made it, and the land which God's hands fashioned. Come, let us bow down, kneel, bending for Adonai our Maker. For Adonai is our God, and we are the people God tends, the flock in God's care. Oh, if we would but heed God's justice. The flock in God's care. Beautiful passage. We turn to page 138. L'chadodi follows up on it. This transports us a little bit closer to our time than the writing of the Psalms. L'chadodi is about 400 years old, and Rabbi Shlomo Alkabetz wrote this prayer that speaks of God and Israel. It speaks of the Shabbat as a bride coming to welcome the Jewish people. We will chant the first and second and fifth and ninth verses. And when we get to that final passage, we face the doors of the sanctuary at that point so that we welcome Shabbat in the direction of the setting sun like a bride coming into our midst. Again, that word Shabbat. We join together on 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shavu v'zachu v'ribu echad, hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad, u'shemo echad l'shemu tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mikor habaracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh. B'mashavat chila lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech, umi uri, shir daberi vevod Adonai, alayik nigla lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'bsola toch emunei am segula, boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
Page 144. You can remain standing if you like, because I'm just going to ask you to rise in a moment for the Baruch Hu. The Chatzi Kaddish prepares us for the next section of our service.
Yitgadal
Yitgadash Me'raba Mi'alma Divra Yamlich Malchutei B'chayecho U'yomecho Uvchayedecho Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv Mimeru Amin Eshmei Rabba Mivora Leolam Lol Me'almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitba'ar V'yitromam V'naseh V'yitada V'yitaleh V'yitala Shemei Dukudasham B'richu Kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram b'yalma v'meru. Amen. Page 146.
Barechu et Adonai
Hamivorah. Baruch Adonai Hamivorah Le'olam. I'm going to ask you to be seated. Normally we stand right through Shema, but you'll see why in a couple moments. We read together on page 148 in English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courts according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Ahavat Olam
Beit Yisrael,
Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, Menu Leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Before we rise for Shema, I'd like to share a reading with you. I'm excited because Rabbi Deborah Robbins will be with us on a Sunday morning, October 6th, right in the middle of the 10 days of preparation and reflection between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Psalm 27, as a lot of our regulars know, is that psalm that is read all during the month of Elul, all the way to Sukkot. Some of you like it more than others, but John Salve, when he's here with us, leads us in one of the traditional tunes, Psalm 27, the psalm that says, "All I ask is that I can dwell in the house of the Lord forever." And that psalm is read in synagogues. It's read at the beginning of Elul. It's a leap Jewish year coming up, so that tells us that the holidays are not for like 8 more weeks. So I'm a little anxious about the holidays, and I keep reminding myself there's 7 until the end of September. That is the psalm we read. And Rabbi Robbins' book just came out, and what she does in the book is it's sort of a guided reading for people who aren't comfortable with guided readings. She wrote 50 different reflections on the verses of Psalm 27, and sometimes she focuses on just one word. Sometimes she looks at a whole verse. She wrote a poem for everyone, and the book gives you a whole guided ritual of sort of uncluttering your brain, and then reading the prayer 2 to 3 times, and then taking just 5 minutes to write your reflections, whatever comes into your mind, and then sitting again. So the book is kind of like a 15-minute, if you can reflect it all from the beginning of Elul to any time up to Yom Kippur and Sukkot. It's sort of it's a guide to that, and very usable. Even if you say, I'm not that kind of person, it's a wonderful book. And every single page says, gather, settle, bless, read, write, sit, forgive, remember, celebrate. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. And we'll have lots of copies near the end of August here if you want to use this reflection. And Rabbi Robbins will be with us for a morning for anyone who wishes to walk you through the writing of the book right between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I am telling you all this because I want to read to you one of her prayers, one of her poems that speaks of the word Shema. Now, she refers to verse 27:7 in the psalm, which is Shema Adonai koli ekra v'chaneni v'eneni. Hear Adonai my voice, I am crying out, be gracious to me and answer me. And you'll see why I'm reading this now. The word catches me off guard every day. I see the 3 familiar Hebrew letters, Shin, Mem, Ayin. I read one word, Shema. I translate the one word, hear. And as if on autopilot, I launch into reciting the most central, the most said, the most essential words, prayer, mantra, affirmation of Jewish life, known as the watchword of our faith, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, Israel, Adonai, our God. Adonai is one. God's words are rooted in the Torah and grow familiar to me in the prayer book, spoken both morning and night. You, people Israel, Jews, believers, non-believers too, listen, pay attention, hear. Adonai, our God, is one. Here the psalmist says, Shema, pay attention, hear. Hear, Adonai, my voice. These are human words addressed to God, a plea for Adonai to listen, to pay attention, to hear the words spoken from my heart. The Shema of the psalmist catches me off guard every day of Elul. Until now, the psalm filled my head with sound, the shofar, the singing, the noise, and then amid the cacophony, a single voice cries out, in audacious role reversal. Listen, my God, to my one voice. Listen, one God, to me. Hear me crying out, and you be gracious and answer me. A demand on myself as well. I must pray, sing, speak, give voice to the clamoring pain and the suffering of the chaotic world. I must do what the Israelites did. I must cry out, and then perhaps God will respond once again. I have heard the moaning, and I remember, and I will be your God. Take a moment. There's that shin again from Shabbat and Shema. When you're ready, rise. No rush. And when we're all standing, we'll continue with Shema. No rush.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam, Vaed. We turn to 155 and we read together. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you this day. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. If you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them on the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. You may be seated as we turn to page 158. We move from God's revelation through those words to God's revelation at the sea on the way to freedom.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei felet, nora tehilot, osei felet, malachutecha, ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu v'yameru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar, ki fad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo mi'ad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gaal Israel.
Page 160. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, or famine and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 162.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei Shvi Shabbat, Kulam Yiseu, V'yitangu Metuvecha Shabbat, Yismechu V'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, Korei Oneg Shabbat, V'hashvi'i Ratzita bo v'kiddush Shabbat, Chemdad Yamim, O Tokarat Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat, Zecher L'maseh v'reishit Shabbat, Zecher L'maseh v'reishit Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
Page 164, we begin with the first few pages together as we join facing God as a community, and then we continue on our own, be they the words in this book, be they the words of our own hearts in Hebrew or in English, standing or sitting. We will begin standing together, and then you can choose how to continue. And if the words aren't there, maybe you'll just close your eyes and think about that Shabbat and just take a moment to embrace nothing else in your mind but that word. However you wish to continue, we begin on 164, and when we continue silently, we will then continue on our own through 180 if you wish.
Adonai sebatai tiftach uthi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gula Libnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav LeHoshia, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Continue silently. On the back of the service pamphlet, you see the names of those who have given us their names, who are ill, who are in need of healing. As we look at their names, we wish all of them a speedy recovery. Some are newer, some are close to healing, some are on longer journeys, and we pray for their healing. If you have the name of someone who is not on this list and you would like to add it, you can as I look to and as I walk through the sanctuary.
Andrew Callahan. Charlotte Gee.
On page 371, we find the words of the Mishaberach there in the middle of the page in Hebrew and transliteration as we offer a prayer for all in need of healing and strength.
Mishaberach avotenu mikol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing.
We turn from a prayer for healing for all who are sick to Aleinu, a prayer that asks us to look forward to a time of wholeness and healing and peace and oneness. We stand before the open ark for Aleinu, 586. There we go.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula li'atzeh reshit, shelot sanu kigoye harasot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelot sam melkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kehol ha'manah, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai yechad u'shemo echad. Please be seated. Continue with Kaddish. We think of those who touched our lives, those who left an impact upon us, even as the days and years pass and the memory becomes fainter. We know that with every breath we are a living testament to their dreams and their hopes and their legacy, their lives. It's our custom for those who are comfortable to ask you to rise if you hear the name of one you are remembering, either in a period of shloshim, the 30-day period of mourning, or if it is the yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, and then we will all rise to show support and for those who have none to say Kaddish for them. We know on this Shabbat, the period of shloshim of mourning for Benjamin Lewis Levin and Sylvia Schwartz Bronstein. In addition, we mention the names of the yahrzeits of Rube Archenhold, Pearl Bodner, Carmen Koki, Helen Marcusfeld Cohen, Judith Cooper, Marvin Cummings, Julia Ekbar, Morris N. Freed, Dr. Robert Lawrence Gilstrap, Leah Landman Goldstucker, Philip Henry Greenwall, Maurice Kahn, Irvin Lerner, Louis Maskell, Peter Oshman, Odile Patrick, Nettie White Ritchie, Nancy Jo Rosenthal, Harry Roth, Barbara Schmidt, Paul Schneider, Mitch Stensler, Jerry Wolins. And we all rise as we know some of those names and as we offer support to all who are remembering, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgada shemei Rabba, bi'almal divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayi d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala l'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'l'almei al-maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitrom v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitala shmeid kudsha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiram b'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May we know wholeness and fullness strength in our remembering. May God bring strength and wholeness to all who remember, here and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. It is a pleasure, before I call up Robert Schkowski on behalf of B'nai B'rith to make a presentation, I will say this is a special milestone for me because I had both of these students in confirmation. This is a new milestone, which means I've been the rabbi here for 3 years, entering my 4th year, but I had the pleasure of having both of them in my first confirmation class, and so I can kvel with you. And so as I'll say more in a minute, but first, please, let me turn it to you so I don't steal any of your thunder to share our fine candidates in this special moment in our congregation.
Thank you very much, Rabbi and President Howard, for having B'nai B'rith here tonight. It's such an honor and pleasure to present the awards here. I first would like to recognize Dr. Barry Schneider. He is actually the chair of the scholarship program, but since he's very busy this year, being the national commander of the Jewish war veterans, he's given me this responsibility, which I'm glad to take. Okay, so I'd like to invite Lily Goldberg, and I'd like to have Bob and Kim also come up and be with Lily. I guess we can take pictures afterwards, or we could take some probably after the service if we need to do that. And then I'd like to have Raphael and Suki come up as well. And the reason why I'm having the parents come up here is because not only do we want to honor Lily and Raphael, but I feel like we need to honor the parents that love them and support them and give them guidance through the year. Because without that family bond and family guidance, I don't think Lily and Raphael would be here. So congratulations to the parents as well. Okay. All right. So our winner of our scholarship, B'nai B'rith Scholarship Award, is going to go to Lily Goldberg. And Lily's graduated from the Pascal High School, which was my alma mater as well. And she was in the top % of her class. In fact, she finished 10th out of 528, so that's less than 2%, top of the class. She's planning on going to Washington University, where she's going to study for her bachelor's in science and biology. And some of her accomplishments are, let me get my glasses on here, National Merit Scholar, AP Scholar with Distinction, National Honor Society, Pascal Society of Academic Excellence, Regional Visual Arts Scholar, two years for that one. School and Outside Jewish Activities, Pascal Key Club, volunteering for 4 years, founder of In Tune Music Education Partnership. Looks like that's being sponsored by the Fourth Weekly, and she's done that for 3 years. Volunteer counselor at Camp Impact for 3 summers. Now, I don't know if you're aware of Camp Impact in Arlington, but this is a special camp, and Lily is a special counselor to be part of this camp. So congratulations, and thank you for doing that. Also, she was a teacher's aide, 2nd grade teacher's aide here at Beth-El for 2 years. She's also managed to spend some fun time playing the violin for 3 years and painting for 4 years. So it amazes me with these young adults how much the activities they do, along with making the best grades at school. It's just incredible, really. So congratulations to Lily and to Bob and Kim, our parents. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. So our second scholarship that we're going to give out, we usually give out one academic scholarship, but Raphael's application was so impressive that I went back to the B'nai B'rith board, and everyone was in agreement to give another scholarship to Raphael. And when you hear all this that he's done, you'll understand why. Okay, Raphael also graduated from Pascal, top % of his class. He plans on going to UNT Denton, and he's going to major in media arts with a minor in theater management. And he's also won a scholarship at UNT, an $8,000 scholarship from UNT, so that's wonderful. Horacio is his dad, and he wasn't able to make it here tonight, but Suki, his mom, is here. So, all right, so here's some of the wonderful things that Raphael has done at Paschal. He's enrolled in about 10 AP courses. Includes history and geography, world history, environmental science, psychology, literature, calculus, government, and macroeconomics. Some of his awards are AP Scholar with Honor, National Hispanic Recognition, 4th Independent School District Academic Sweatshirt Scholar. That's a program for students maintaining a GPA of 3.8 or higher. 4th Independent Scholar. School activities are Paschal Cross Country Team, National Honor Society. Looks 2 years in a row there. Paschal Theater, 11th and 12th grade, and he was a backstage manager. Paschal Soccer and Yearbook Club. He also found time to do some work. He was a public pool lifeguard for several summers, children's swim lessons instructor, soccer referee for 3 years, and he also managed, in the middle of doing all that, to deliver some Parati pizzas. Good job. Did you eat any of those pizzas along the way? Probably not. Okay. They sure smell good, I bet. All right. Community activities. He was a member of NIFTY, Jewish Youth Group, nationwide. He was a member of Beth-El Synagogue, and he was a teacher's aide for 4th grade, and volunteered at the Ronald McDonald House in the 6th and 7th grade. So he has an impressive resume as well, and we wish him the very best of luck as he goes to UNT. So it's amazing, really, what these kids have done. I say kids; they're really young adults. And if you keep up the same schedule as you're doing now, you'll be 100% successful in life. It's wonderful that you've had such a great start. Thank you all for letting me be here.
Thank you. Thank you. No, go on. Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you, Dr. Schneider. Thank you, B'nai B'rith, for all that you do to make this wonderful opportunity available, as well as other things we do in the community. I don't want you guys to go anywhere yet. I'm going to ask the congregation to turn to, make sure I got the right page number here, page 603. Like I said, we're about to begin the 5th book of the Torah, and we're going to keep reading it until middle of October. But the 5th book of the Torah is Moses not knowing what final words are. Sort of like your kids are going off to school, and except in his case, it's the Israelites going off to Israel. We're so close, then we have a whole other book of Torah. And the reality is, I'm sure if when it's time to drop off your children, what are those final words? How do you distill 18 years of lessons? You can't. And in fact, the danger is that you will write an entire book of advice, and the most important things will be lost. And so I think these words are the best final words, these words from the Torah. So if the congregation's on 603, I think we all offer blessing. We all offer best wishes. So I'm going to ask the congregation to rise, and I'm going to ask parents to open the doors of the ark. And I'm going to ask the congregation with me to offer these blessings, starting on the left side, so we don't all say the same, do the opposites, for each of you, so that you have been leaders in our congregation, in our community, in the wider Fort Worth community. You have inspired us. We know that there are a lot of religious school kids who are going to miss you in the next year for all the gifts you've given. And so we offer final words, the final words that the Jewish people offer to one another on journeys. And I think these words speak as well as any whole book in the Torah. And so we end on these thoughts. So in Hebrew and or in English, whatever your comfort zone, please join me. Yisimcha Elohim K'Ephraim V'chim Manasseh. May God inspire you to live like Ephraim and Manasseh. Yisimech Elohim K'Sarah K'Rivka K'Rachel Chaleah. May God inspire you to live like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasein lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. We offer those blessings not only to you, but to your parents on this journey. Let's close the ark. And you can be seated if you wish, or you can keep standing. Our closing song, you'll notice a thematic connection here, is on page 649. Please feel free to join in if you know it. At the top of the page, I think you'll figure out what our final song is.
May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Thank you very much, Angie. Shabbat shalom.